What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we have another episode of the Madden 24 Portland Bulls franchise. And today is going to be the off-season free agency and the draft. As last episode, we took on the Atlanta Falcons at home, ended up winning 32-28 with a chance to get into the playoffs on the line, but we did end up, unfortunately, not playing well enough during the season as a whole, as the Seahawks took 2 wins over us and they finished with a 9-8 record, so they ended up getting that 7 seed over us. So that ended up ending our season. But today we have a little bit of fun stuff planned as we have free agency in the draft. But what we will do is we will sim to the Super Bowl week, see how the playoffs have gone so far, and then we will sim to the next week, see how the Super Bowl went, as we do actually end up getting a contract extension, 3 years, $5 million. So checking out the yearly awards, they have finally come out. We have Patty Mahomes ended up winning the MVP. Dak Prescott was in first last we checked, and he is now in third. So that is something. Patrick Mahomes came in late, ended up winning it all. We have our boy Jay Stevens down here in 8th, so he most likely won Rookie of the Year if he's in the MVP conversation. Unfortunately, Caleb Williams, our quarterback we traded away, ended 6th. And Offensive Player of the Year in the NFC is actually Cooper Kupp. So Patreon Nick Powell must have let him get a lot of touches this year, or Patreon Nick Powell must have been feeding him the rock pretty heavily for him to end up winning Offensive Player of the Year, followed by Nick Chubb on the Bears. Never thought I'd see that. And if you look all the way down here in 7th, once again, Jay Stevens in the top 10. So pretty good year for the rookie. He's in amongst good company. All of these guys, all-star type players. He's in some pretty good company, as all of these guys are Pro Bowl, All-Pro kind of guys. Defensive Player of the Year is Micah Parsons, probably well-deserved. And if you look down here in 5th, Isaiah Simmons finished in the top 5, so that's a pretty good year for our middle linebacker. And then the thing we were all kind of under the impression of already, Jay Stevens wins Rookie of the Year, followed closely by Nick Powell of the Rams. I'm sure he had a fantastic season with Cooper Kupp. Ended up winning Offensive Player of the Year. I'm sure his stats looked great as well. Leon Ware finishing 3rd, which is nice to see. We actually, off camera, I've been talking to some of the guys who watch that are close friends of mine, and we're not sure. We're on Leon Ware. We might trade him. We're not sure. Like, we're 50-50 right now. So that's interesting. Anybody else? And then on the Defensive Rookie of the Year side, Bo Rucker from the Bucks ends up winning it. And then down here in 5th is Matt Hill, the 3rd round pick. And then down in 10th is Jerome Elliott, our 1st round pick. Another guy that we're kind of unsure on. We might be trading him as well, because there is a defensive tackle in this draft class who is very, very good. So we're exploring all options at the moment. Still undecided. Patreon Max Young finishing 8th in Defensive Rookie of the Year as well. And then Patreon Hunter Payne finishes 8th in the AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation. So all of the Patreons having pretty good years altogether. And the playoffs, one side goes as pretty expected as you can think, and then the other side is filled of upsets. If you don't know which side I'm talking about, the NFC is the upset side for sure. The 7 seed Seahawks somehow are in the Super Bowl, as they took out Dallas, then Green Bay, and then somehow the Commanders, the 5th seed in the NFC Championship game. That's crazy. Not a single high seed from the NFC side made it out of the wild card round. All the lower seeds ended up winning. That's so funny to me. As the Rams and the San Francisco 49ers had to play. So those were two teams in our division that had to play each other wild card round. Nick Powell and the Rams ended up getting the win there, and then they lose to the Commanders. But the AFC side, it is just every seed that you think would win basically won, outside of the rank 5 Chiefs. They ended up beating the 4 seed Titans, but still, it's Patrick Mahomes, man. He's usually the favorite anyways. And then Caleb Williams and the Raiders beat the Chiefs, beat the 2 seed Ravens, and now they are in the Super Bowl taking on the Seahawks. So you hate to root for a divisional opponent, but I don't know if I want the Raiders to win after we just traded them Caleb Williams. So we might be rooting for the Seahawks here. Well, the Raiders win 48-21. So Caleb Williams just got a ring. That's a terrible look. That is a terrible, terrible look. Oh no. And that does mean that we have the 32nd pick due to the Raiders winning the Super Bowl. And then we have pick 18. That is our pick. Don't worry about the mock drafts right now. So don't worry about the projected picks in the mock draft. It's having like players that I have in my favorite section. So Hunter Ainsworth is favorited. That's why they have him going right there. But I will not be drafting a fullback at pick 18, so don't worry. But so for right now, we have picks 18 and 32. And now it is officially day 1 of free agency. Let's take a look at the top guys on the board going into free agency, as we have Joel Benito, 34, and Tyron Smith, 35. Those are the top guys. I will not be going after them, as I like to not try and bring in super old guys because they just regress. Not a whole lot to work with for what it looks like so far. As most of these guys are on the older side, coming off of contracts. Tyler Algier might not be a bad pickup, but I do have my eye on someone in the draft if we do decide to move on from Leon Ware. So no one really jumping out to me right now. They both do have pretty high interest in the teams. John Mechie is just a really cool story to me. The way he was able to come back from his cancer diagnosis is really cool. Big props to him, IRL. KJ Hamler is just a really good player for what I like to do, which is kind of like air out speed type people. So both of them fit the bill, but I do think I'm gonna go John Mechie. He is a little bit taller. I will sacrifice the speed for just a little bit of height in the end. So we will offer him 4 years. So I did have to take a look at the team real quick. And I did actually throw some linemen on the board. They are all they're more for backup capacity. We did not have a backup at right tackle, right guard, or left tackle. So this is more of a future precautionary type thing. Lower overalls, but also going to be cheaper. I don't expect our linemen to get hurt too much this year, as they did stay relatively healthy. It's more of a just in case scenario, but we're going to do the first eval period, see if anyone decides to sign. And we get all of them. So Mechie, Dan Moore, Blake Freeland, and TJ Wayne are all now part of the squad. And so we do end up trading Leon Ware. I do think the dude we're going to end up drafting here is going to end up being better than Leon Ware. So we do send him to the Ravens for a second rounder this year. And then I took some 2 low 60 overalls off their plate, so it would actually go through, because they were like $1 million underneath the cap space. So I'm sure that's why this trade went through. But those 2 guys will probably just get cut immediately. It was more just to get the deal done. And now we have 3 first-round pick guys. We ended up trading Osa. He was. There is a DT I like in this draft. So what's probably gonna happen? I'm gonna use this pick we just got. We sent Osa to the Seahawks. You can see the trade haul right here, but it is a 4th rounder this year and then a 3rd rounder next year for this 1st rounder. But there is a young defensive tackle that I really like. Deciding to keep Jerome Elliott because of his age. He's a lot younger. And you know, he didn't get a whole lot of playing time, and he still finished top 10 in the defensive rookie of the year conversation. So I'm gonna keep him. Let him try to battle it out with this other guy I'm about to bring in, and just let it work out that way, because I think that would be a lot more fun than just trading Jerome Elliott straight up. And now we are scheduling private workouts right now. The 3 we are going to bring in, I already have them in mind. It's going to be Mark Quigley, the little brother, if you will, of our starting center. Anyways, he is the start. I'm just, you know, running with it. The little brother of our starting center. Marvin Durant, another LSU running back, maybe 3rd time's a charm. Lynn Turner's still working out pretty well, but decided to move on from Leon Ware. Gonna try an elusive back this time, see if that maybe works out a little bit more in my favor. And then Avery Benjamins. He is a right outside linebacker out of Georgia. His physical stats are absolutely unbelievable, so he would be a nice little addition, maybe to try and fight to take over that starting role from BJ Ojulari. But that is the 3 people we are going to bring out for the private workouts. The 2 you saw at the top, Silas Hawley and Savage, cornerback and defensive tackle, they're already pretty high, like an 80 and then a 95, so I'm cool with what we have scouted out of those guys. They were the 2 I was going to initially go with, like immediately in my head. Like the first 2 picks we already had in the 1st round was going to go to those guys, so this is why I am scouting Quigley, Durant, and Avery, just to get a little more understanding on these guys and make sure they're what we want to do, make sure they're players we want to draft in this upcoming draft. So guys, basically the first week of free agency is all I did. Those 5 guys, I think it's 4. Those were the only free agents I ended up picking up. And then those 5 guys I showed you, the prospect players coming up in this draft, those are the guys I'm expecting to use my picks on. The first 3 first rounders are going to go into Hawley, Savage, and Quigley, and then the 2 second rounders will probably go into Marvin Durant and Avery Benjamins. But without further ado, let's hop into this draft and let's see if we can maybe get all the pieces to fall into place and get everybody we want. So I am just taking it pick by pick right now in the first round. I want to make sure. Well, I like to see who goes in the draft, of course, and then I like to just make sure none of my guys get picked, so I'm not surprised when it's my turn to pick and my guys are gone. So like this pick, we are good. No one has picked any of our players yet. So first pick 18 for the Portland Bulls. If my draft board will load, maybe doing that will help. I don't know. There we go. It's going to be Silas Hawley. Projected round 1, round 2 guy, but he's going to go at 18. Love everything I saw about this guy. Hidden dev, 93 speed, 94 acceleration, 89 change of direction, 85 jumping, 85 agility. This man is a beast. 6'3", and he's 22 years old. Good pick, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments, but in my opinion, great first pick. Ooh, Rashad Middlebrooks, that is a defensive tackle, but not my defensive tackle. So, with the 31st pick, in whatever year draft this is, I forgot, the Portland Bulls are going to take Cole Savage, defensive tackle, out of Ohio State. Hidden dev, 92 strength, 74 speed, 78 jumping, and 80 excel. Big power rusher here, 6'3", 300 pounds. Definitely think he will be a great pairing with Jerome Elliott up front. And then we are right back on the clock, and you guys know who we're going with. It's gonna be Mark Quigley, the little brother of our center. Didn't look up his first name. That's on me, but welcome to the squad. Hidden Dev. We are sniping them today. 6'5", 344 pounds out of Ole Miss. 89 strength, 82 excel, 69 speed. So he's not the fastest, but definitely a great power blocker, as that is his archetype, but still the strength really is there. So the second round, we are going to skip pick by pick for right now. Just interested still to see who goes where. Stephon Rivers, he was on my board. We'll have to check him out. I had just decided to go with Silas Hawley. I liked his speed and stuff more than Stephon Rivers, and the height too. But he did look like a really good player. All right, we are good as they take a right end. So you know who we're picking right here. As for the 18th pick in the second round, we're going to go with Marvin Durant, the 22-year-old out of LSU, another hidden dev. 93 speed, 93 change of direction, 86 agility, 93 acceleration, as he will be probably RB1 going into the year. But Lynn Turner definitely is in that conversation still, as he played phenomenally last year. But we'll just have to check out what Marvin Durant's overall is after this and just kind of go off of that. And now I am going to just advance to the next user pick, as Avery Benjamins is supposed to be a third-round pick. I just think he is worthy of that second-round pick, as we have pick 30 here in the second round. Go down to favorites. He's right there for the taking. Avery Benjamin, welcome to the squad. The 21-year-old out of Georgia. Normal dev, unfortunately. I definitely thought he would be a hidden. But just taking a look at him, 87 speed, 86 jumping, 75 change of direction, 86 agility, and 90 acceleration. So he's definitely going to be a great pass coverage guy if we can just develop him a little bit. And we do not have a lot of late round picks. I think we just traded away our fourth round pick to, yes, we did. So we will take, I'm not even sure who we'll take right here. And then in the seventh round, we're going to take a fullback, actually. I know we picked one up in free agency last year, but we are actually going to go in a different direction. Here he is, 6'2", 221, 22 years old, out of Oregon, 88 speed, 76 jumping, 82 change of direction, 81 agility, and 91 excel. So not terrible. I definitely think he can make the transition and move into the box. And then with our very last pick in this draft, you guys already know, if you were paying attention earlier, I'm going with a fullback, and thankfully the one I was wanting was not taken. I did not expect a fullback to get taken at all. But we're going to go with Mitchell Melvin here. 22-year-old out of Vanderbilt. Don't have really anything skills-wise scouted for him besides break tackle and carrying. He does have some decent blocking, not anything crazy from what I have scouted. The reason I am going with him is the elite speed. Ran a 4.79 and a 4.73 40 at his combine and pro day, and he's first and second in a lot of things. And then the only thing he isn't first or second in is this 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. But this is the fullback that I want to pick up here. Reggie Gillisley, nothing against him, just want a fullback of my own, and usually fullbacks are hidden, but this one is not, unfortunately. But 81 speed, 83 strength, 81 agility, 79 acceleration, so not the fastest as I thought he would be, but still just something new at fullback. So the punter we are gonna go with here is Glenn Butler. The reason why, A, kick accuracy, and then B, short accuracy. So if we want to run fake punts, he does have an accurate enough arm to at least throw it short to the fullback we just drafted. Did I do that on purpose? Maybe. But I'm going to go with coincidence. But Glenn Butler, 86 kick power. That's nice. And that's all I really get out of this. Yeah, 86 kick power, which is good for a kicker, I guess. So, good enough. So, that is all the draft picks this time. At this time. This is all the draft picks for this draft. We're going to go ahead and just advance to the end of the draft, and we will take a look at the players we have drafted. So, we actually did pretty well this draft, in my opinion, at the very least. Silas Hawley was definitely that guy at corner, 77 overall. Cole Savage is a little bit lower than I expected at a 72, but still 70s in the draft is pretty nice regardless. And then Mark Quigley is a 73 overall. I don't know if he'll get the start, but, you know, he is now on the team, and he can fight for that starting spot. Marvin Durant, a 74 overall in the second round, is always something that can be welcomed to the team. And then Avery Benjamin's actually a very solid pickup for what he was projected as a 71 overall. He was supposed to go in the 3rd to 4th round. Brett Ingram, disregard. I just kind of forgot we had a 3rd round pick. Probably should have used it on the fullback, and then in the 7th round I could have picked up the punter, but hindsight 2020. Our fullback, Mitchell Melvin, 71 overall. Kind of expected him to be a little bit higher, but that's fine. And then our punter, Glenn Butler, is a 67, so not great. No, they had Winslow. Dwayne Winslow, a cornerback that I thought about taking, ended up being a 74 overall, so he is actually pretty decent, like I had thought. But decided to go with Silas Hawley, which was the right decision. Dwayne Nails was also a defensive tackle I was looking into, and he's actually better than Cole Savage, the DT we ended up going with. So hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us in the butt. Is he a hidden? He is a normal, so I definitely think I would rather still have Cole Strange in this situation then. Here he is. Stephon Rivers was the other cornerback I was looking at going into this draft. He went pick 2 in the 2nd round. He was a 75 overall, so Silas Hawley was the higher overall. And is he a hidden? He is a hidden. So either one of those picks would have been okay. But I am glad we went with Silas Hawley, as he is 3 overalls higher. No, 2 overalls higher. And then just looking at the draft overall, the highest overall player was a cornerback, Marshall Jenkins, and he ended up going to the Cleveland Browns. Next was Aaron Womack. He is a quarterback that went to the Bears, and then Silas Hawley was the 3rd highest overall player. Well, he was tied for 3rd, but still. So we got one of the best players in the draft at pick 18, which is really cool to see. Good drafting on my part. Let's go. No, I'm kidding. I actually had some of my buddies, I sent them like a list of who I wanted to draft, and they kind of they picked everything. I just said, hey, here's the guys I was thinking of, what do you think? And they all said, hey, draft this guy, this guy, this guy. I just put it into like a little poll for them. They voted. So just a shout out to Jay Stevens, Daniel Kroom, and Matt Hill for drafting this draft for me. Essentially, they ended up just making all the picks. I just kind of said, hey, here's what we need, and here are the players I was looking at. So I just laid it out. They made the picks, so those guys drafted the team this offseason. So draft picks are on those guys. If you don't like it, take it up with them in the comments. They'll probably be there. But yeah, guys, that's it for basically this episode in the draft. Next episode we'll probably be doing week 1 of the next season. I can go ahead and sim to that though. But yeah, that is it for this episode. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. going into year 3, sorry. Hopefully going into year 3, we can get back to the playoffs and make a deep playoff run. Maybe we can catch Caleb Williams in the Super Bowl this year. But that is going to do it for this episode, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know without gameplay it can be a little bit boring. I don't know. I like the draft personally. It's my favorite thing to do. But if you guys are new here, like and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications on this and the Texans franchise, so you can get notifications when those come out. Hopefully you guys come back for year 3. Still churning out these videos, still love making them, so hopefully you guys come back to see year 3. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. I'm Andrew from Sexton Gaming, and I'm out. Peace.